Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're just going.
Emma, 1 minute. Let me introduce again.
Okay.
Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo Namaha. SCAC, Srivari Creative Arts Committee, belonging to Andavan Ashramam in New Jersey, Srivari Balaji Temple in New Jersey, is blessed to conduct this online workshop on Bhagavad Gita. This is the second session in the series. To know yourself, please participate in part 2. Again, Dr. Prema.
Again. So this is a continuation, first of all, is there any relevance of Bhagavad Gita for, the way we are living today? So it's in continuation with what we did in last month. And this is more on the self-realized, realization. So before we move on, maybe like we can wait for 5 minutes for the poll quiz. Once it is ready, then we will begin. But I would like to begin with the presentation. What we did last month do have the relevance, how Bhagavad Gita is relevant to us even today, whether it was like, it's 5,000 years back, what was given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, it is still relevant. And I'm thankful to Srivari Creative Arts Committee and Srivari Balaji Temple and all my obeisance to Tayar and Mahalakshmi and Balaji Venkateshwara, Alamelumanga Tayar and Venkateshwara and all our Alvars and Acharyas. So we move on to the self-realization. Self-realization, there are, 2 parts of it, like characterization of self-realized person. What is the character of a self-realized person? This is how we will begin. So why is it relevant? Am I a self-realized person, and what is self-realization? We will go in that part. And if I'm a self-realized person, then what are those characteristics that needs to be there with me? And everything is in Bhagavad Gita. In all those chapters, I've just picked up and chose all those wherever Krishna tells Arjuna, see, look, this is what is self-realization. So Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is how we began last month also. Those who are interested in self-realization in terms of mind and sense control offer the functions of all the senses as well as the vital force, that is the breath, as oblations, that is as a sacrifice into the fire of the controlled mind. It's a sacrifice, it's total surrender to Lord Krishna. So we will move on. If the poll questions are ready, yes. Thank you so much. I would request all of you, are you able to see the poll? I'm sure you all are seeing it. So can you just start answering them? You have to click on one of them. How do you value yourself? A or B? You have to just choose one. How will they choose? Okay, let's try. Can you start choosing? No. Are you able to choose them?
I cannot choose anything.
Okay. I think we'll request him to. All right. So Amin, you need to. I think there are boxes in that, and just look into it. We can wait for that. Meanwhile, I'll go on. So poll can be again put, because those are for the self-realization. Whenever it is ready, then you let me know. They have to choose it. So we have the number of people who have chosen what is that they have chosen. So that is how we can calculate the percentage. Okay, so we are just going to talk about or understand or realize or apply the self-realization. Am I a self-realized person? What is self-realization? And why do I need to even think about the self-realization? This is how we will go on. Yeah. Okay.
Close.
Yes. So these are the questions which you will be answering to yourself before we begin the session. Who am I? Why am I born? What is my goal? How do I achieve my goal? What steps do I follow? How can I be successful? The most burning question, how can I be successful? How can I be happy? My happiness is everything, okay? So how can I make money? What will I do with that money? Try to find the answers from this session and keep writing. So these questions are there posted, and we are going to have the poll also. So meanwhile, when these things are going on, simultaneously, just find out, just check for yourself, do you get the answers from this session? You know, the further whatever we are going to talk about, whatever Krishna is speaking, I'm not speaking. Who am I? Why am I born? What is my goal? How do I achieve my goal? What steps do I follow? How can I be successful? How can I be happy? How can I make money? What will I do with that money? So try to find the answers from the session. So please have a notebook, and it's very important that you keep writing it down also. And all the devotees, humble request is you mute yourself whenever interaction. So I'm not going to mute. You mute yourself, and then whenever we have it's an interactive session, you can ask questions in between. We can clarify also. So we'll move on with the presentation. Okay. So this is just an image where it's a Virat Swarupam. So we know where Krishna and Arjuna is, and they themselves are watching this Virat Swarupa. So I would, the way we did last month, I would request each one of you to read and, you know, be with us. So when you get involved, it will be nice. Anybody can read. So to begin with, you can just raise your hand and I will be able to see here. The Bhagavad Gita presents rigorous and logical arguments on the expanse and limitations of science. Okay, Sudarshan, yes, Adiyan, you can read.
Namaskaram, Mami. So should I just read this paragraph?
Yes, just this paragraph, please. Thank you.
Okay, Adiyan. The Bhagavad Gita presents rigorous and logical arguments on the expanse and limitations of science, definition of proofs, dilemma of ethics, and finally, what everlasting happiness means. The Bhagavad Gita delves into the essence of dharma, atma, karma, and yoga with crystal clarity on their application in the modern world. Towards the end of the book, Bhagavad Gita reveals itself as the instructional manual for the universe. In understanding how a jiva's living entity interaction with Prakriti, material nature in Kala, time is governed by the laws of karma, casual law, designed by Ishvara, the supreme controller, one shall find the key to crafting a happy and fulfilling life. Kalenya Kogut is a professor of Ukraine studies in Singapore. Together, Ram Singh, they share their experiences from atheism to dharma and answer how the fundamental rules of samsara read out in the Bhagavad Gita.
So there is a book, what the research also it's been done. That's why I gave the reference here. We have manual, you know, anything that you buy, we have a manual for everything. But do we have a manual for our life? No. And in that case, we need to have manual for everything, like, you know, to be married and after married and to be a parent. But listen, everything we find in one particular thing, which is all spoken by Krishna, which is Bhagavad Gita. So that's the manual. And this statement from atheism to dharma, you know, so we have only jiva, prakriti, kala, karma, ishvara. So how everything is connected and what is it? So we are going to get the answers for all this. Yes, Sudarshanji. Others also, if raise the hand, then, you know, one after another, we can keep going. Yes, one who thinks that he has many enemies. Sudarshan. Yes, you can continue.
Okay, Adanyos me. One who thinks that he has many enemies is an ignorant man. A person in knowledge knows that there are no enemies but those within oneself, the uncontrolled mind and senses.
This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We have a lots and lots of characterization where, Krishna speaks. So in 16th chapter, but we will go on slowly from the second chapter onwards. Second chapter onwards, everything talks about the characterization. So I need to always check myself that do I have that? Do I have that? Yes, Srimati Indu, you have raised the hand. This is just an example of how we keep running. Am I happy? Am I, successful? Am I having money? All those questions. Keep running. But where are we? So this is an image where we have to just check for ourselves. Am I imperishable? Am I a Shashwatam person? Am I a permanent person? So what happens to us? And why are we running? Where are we running? What is our goal? Think about it. Yes, Indu. Padingama.
The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, lust, anger, and greed, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination.
Yes. So in the 16th chapter has got around 24 to 26 characteristics that we will be coming to. But self-characterization, self-realization of the soul, self-realization of this as a Jivatma, or is it with just the Bhuta, that is our body? So we need to make keep making the differences. Am I talking about this body, in this material world, or am I talking about my soul, which is I know my strength, I know my potential, I know my weakness, I know where do I stand. So this is how you keep checking now. Now we are not going to, but the answers are coming, it's in the proceeding, in the in the succeeding presentations. So first thing we have is acceptance of a spiritual master. We all have our Acharya, we all have our Guru. Some way or other, whether it is a youth or an adult, we have one mentor, one philosopher, one parent, the parents maybe, or maybe the grandparents, everybody, we just accept them as our mentor, philosopher, and we have our Acharyas. Then none of us are able to really get into, reading Vedas, but then our Guru, whatever they say, we know that they are all learned people. All the austerities, all that you perform with the virtuous things in your mind, and with those qualities in your mind, and with those sacrificing or total surrendering of that in the mind, that is where we get the sense control. That is where we reach, we have the spiritual knowledge. And these are the steps. One cannot just run to get the spiritual knowledge. Maybe like, Bhava Bhakti and their Prema Bhakti, that stage we haven't reached. We are still entangled in the material world. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Yes, Indu, you want to continue? Yeah. Ashocyananvashocastvam prajna vadamscha bhashase gadasунang gadasунcha nanu shochanti panditaah. Indu, are you there? Shrimati Indu?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The mute panna marandu poitan, sorry.
No problem.
The Supreme Lord said, while you speak words of wisdom, you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. The wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead.
Yes, if we are wise. So that is the question mark. This is again the characterization of the self-realized person. Are we basically having that wisdom? Are we wise? So what the wise person does, they do not lament neither for living nor for dead. So yes, consider. For those who have conquered the mind is the best of friends. Last month we had this big PowerPoint presentation. Is the mind a friend, or but those who have failed to do so, his mind remains the greatest enemy. This also we need to check. So the solution to our problems is a controlled mind. Both balanced, controlled mind. So this is a meaningful prayer. Lord, give me the courage to change the things which can and ought to be changed. The serenity to accept the things which cannot be changed. The one which can be changed, So I need to be balanced. I need to understand that things that can be changed and ought to be changed, yes. So I need to have the courage to do that. And the one which cannot be changed, somebody's behavior, somebody's accountability, responsibility towards you, towards the way they behave with you, that is their swabhav, that is their behavior, so that which cannot be changed. But I need to be able to accept that and go along with it. So Matra, Sparshas, yes, Sudarshan or Indu or anyone else, please raise your hand. You can also read the shloka. Then we'll go for the explanation.
I can read it, Mami.
Yeah, please. Radhika also has raised. Yes, Sudarshan.
Oh, please let Radhika read it.
No. You read this first and then we'll go to Radhika. Yeah.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama apayino anityan tan stitikshasva bharata yam hina vyathayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somritattvaya kalpate.
The one which is here also, that also. Karmanyevadhikarasya.
Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhu ma te sangostva karmani.
So you have a right. Continue.
Yes.
You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty.
So slowly and gradually, we are moving on to understanding the concept of who is a self-realized person and what are their qualities. So each one of us will start putting it down, in the paper with a pencil. Please put it down. Am I following this? Am I following? So you have the right to do all that, but not desiring that the fruits of the action nothing is in your hand. But without any desire, keep doing your, so the best effort of doing your activities. Then when we move on, so this is all in the second chapter. Okay, so it's not nothing that is not there. Now, the second chapter itself, if you see the 14th and 15th, the one shlokas that Sudarshanji read, it's a non-permanent arise from sense perception. Now, what is it? Happiness. So it appears and disappears. So when it appears, you're very happy. And then when it disappears, we are in distress. So what is it that from Bhagavad Gita, what did we know? Tolerate without being disturbed. Tolerate without being. So we need to have a lot of tolerance. That's one quality. The self-realized person. Ready in both. Eligible for liberation. What is liberation? From the not to get into the entangled.
Tolerate without being disturbed.
Jamunava. Somebody is reading? Yeah, okay. So following points are addressed in this. In discharge of duty, one has to tolerate happiness and distress which arise from sense perception. So sometimes we're very happy, but then, jump around and then some unhappiness, some sadness, that's it, gone. And all these are due to your sense perception. That same happiness, like, Sita going behind Rama to the Vana is a happiness for her. Whereas somebody leaving everything and like for Bharata, if he had to take the Padukai and go, if he had to go and rule the kingdom, it was the most unhappy moment. So it all depends on your sense perception. Similarly, Kshatriyas have to fight with the relatives in order to protect Dharma. So that he could not tolerate. So Arjuna is called as Kaunteya, Bharata. So here is representing, here it is representing two great dynasties. That's why it is Kaunteya and Bharata. So that's a responsibility. He needs to perform his prescribed duty to fight against irreligion. So woman has to cook for family, whether it is heat or, whether it is cold. One has to take cold shower in the morning in winter. So these are all those, it is rare in the Bhagavad Gita. Today you ask, it need not be like only woman has to cook. It is not necessary. But then whether it is heat or cold, still the women of the house used to cook, and that's for the Bhagavad Naivedyam. So how do we get this self-realized person? What is other, slowly we are progressing towards that how I become self-realized. So in touch with fire, iron become hot like fire. That is the association. Sadhu Sangha, Sat Sangha. Then who is my friend? Whom do I, really relate? And what is it my ultimate aim? If it are like-minded people, I'm happy. So then read like thought-provoking books daily. Something or other, thought-provoking. Indulge in the activities that enlivening. Enlivening is basically very appealing, very interesting, and then enlightening and inspiring. So all these are the qualities of a self-realized person. I need not get indulged in the material activities, but even if I get indulged in the material activities in the material world, then I pick and choose that, what is it that is going to appeal? Is it based on anavritti, that, avritti, anavritti, nivritti? What is it? Is it really going to help me? Is it really going to help my growth? What is my goal? That's why the first slide, you all know the questions that were given. So if my goal is set, then I start following these. Yes. Radhika. In one study,
a simple sound meditation technique used for 20 minutes a day caused profound changes in blood pressure, stress handling ability, immune response, and feelings of well-being, by Dr. Jeffrey D. Thompson.
Yeah. So the neuroscientists and everybody is trying to, like, a lot of universities are working on it, but which we knew long, long ago. You sit, do Nama Sankirtanam, do meditation, sit and read the scriptures and sit and understand, and then, just close your eyes and then be with the Paramatma. Try to think of Paramatma every minute. So successful are the whole thing. Success on the outside begins with the success inside. So who is a successful person? If I feel I'm successful within me inside, I will say I am the most successful person. And how does it happen? When I start linking with the Paramatma. So these are all procedures to, I'm again and again repeating this, these are all procedures to become a self-realized person. First thing is, am I a self-realized person? Second thing is, how do I go about to get self-realization, self-realized person according to Bhagavad Gita? The third thing is, am I able to get that as my characteristics? You understand? So this presentation will bring us that first, am I checking? The second one is the process. How do I go about? The third one is, then I maintain it. How I maintain to become a self-realized person, because my ultimate goal, I know that it is not to get involved again into the material world. That also each one has a different goal. So being freed from attachment, fear, anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. This is again in the chapter 5, chapter 4, chapter 5, from second onwards, we have been following. So everywhere he has been giving. So involved, so you are freed from the attachment. What is attachment? As a mother, as a wife, you keep doing all the work. As a father, as a son, your prescribed duty you're doing, but not with the attachment to karmanyavadikarasya. So ma phaleshu, without any expectation that this is what, when I do this, then I, even in the business, when I invite this person, I give a party, I'm going to get this. So you do the best. Without that, then no attachment. Freed from attachment is not totally detachment, but detachment from the expectations, detachment from the fruits of it, fear and anger, then fully absorbed in him. Everything is Krishna, everything is for Krishna I'm doing. So this is the vision of the self-realized soul. Who's going to read? Radhikama, continue.
Verse 19. No attraction or hatred to matter, thus he is flawless and impartial like the Lord. Equanimity of mind. Result is one is considered to have conquered material conditions, specifically birth and death. Thus, there is no rebirth, but one can enter into the spiritual sky. How Lord and living entity are flawless. On spiritual platform, they are free from all attraction and hatred. This makes living entity eligible for spiritual sky.
So the main thing is here equanimity. That is, the mind has got the total balanced one. Yes, the second.
Verse 20. Being without desire or hatred, one's intelligence does not rejoice or lament. One remains sharp in intelligence, unbewildered, fixed in the self. Symptoms. No illusion of false bodily identification. This symptom is the basis of not rejoicing or lamenting for material dualities. Sthira buddhihi, steadiness of the mind. The font is too small for me to read.
I know, I understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Not rejoice or lament for bodily relaxations or achievements based on knowledge that he is not this body, but fragmental portion of Supreme Personality of God, Godhead, unbewildered, not misidentify body as soul, nor take body as permanent.
So you will know. So if I have this symptom, like, it's not bodily identification. So whatever I am, but then I am the most beautiful, most wanted person, most. So sthira buddhi comes only when we are satisfied with our own self. And how does that happen? So these are the symptoms for the self-realized soul. Yes, this also you complete, and then we move on to the other one. Temporary sense gratification.
Okay, temporary sense gratification. Can you zoom in? I don't see it here.
No, it's not. I'm not able to more than this.
No, actually, can you do it the other way?
Okay. Wait.
No, I want to see the top. Yeah, no, it's better.
No, this is the other one. The other, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, being fixed in the self, one experiences great happiness within, higher taste, and thus one is never attracted to the temporary sense of gratification. One concentrates on the Supreme and enjoys unlimited happiness. Brahma Yoga stage. One who is absorbed in Krishna consciousness
loses taste for sense pleasure.
Loses taste for sense pleasure. Test in spiritual realization. He avoids highest material
pleasure
and sex pleasure. Spiritual
realization
and sex pleasure go ill together. Okay. Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being liberated soul.
So this is the example for the higher taste, right? Yeah. Are you able to read?
Yeah, example of higher taste, Yamunacharya.
So whatever has been told by our acharyas is basically, now if you have these symptoms, and this is where you can. So this is a test for the spiritual realization. So you are seeing the self-realization and spiritual realization go hand in hand. So these are the symptoms, and this is how we begin with. But we don't give the total concentration for the sensual pleasure. When we start doing the sensual pleasure, but then gopis, they were all into the sensual pleasure. What is it, sensual pleasure? Either matritva, either madhurya rasa, either or my Periyalvar was totally into I am the mother, so there were like all the Alvas different bhava is totally I'm into, he's my son, he's my kid. Then the gopikas like vatsalyam, madhuryam. So these are the bhavas. So once I start all my sensual pleasure into that sort of a bhava, then what happens is I am disconnecting myself with all those sensual pleasures that is going to get me entangled into this material world. Then how do I come out of it? Now I need to totally focus on that, what he is saying, what he is guiding, what Krishna is telling me. So that is where we move on. Okay. So this again, 23rd and 24th. Purposely, I'm not giving shlokas. Shlokas are all coming later on. So how do we tolerate this? Sudarshan, Indu, Radhika, who else? Who else is it? I don't see the raising. Okay. So the continue, Panama.
Prema ji, what chapter are we in?
This is all in the second chapter onwards. Karma Yoga is like fourth.
Okay, okay.
So tolerate the urges. Fourth and fifth go simultaneously, and then we move on to 16th. Totally 6th and then 16th. Tolerate the urges of senses and control desires and anger by acquiring higher taste. So why to tolerate? A self-realized person will always tolerate. Why should I tolerate? So one must practice to control them before one gives up this material body, to make steady progress on spiritual path and achieve transcendental bliss. I know this is not very clear, that's why I'm reading. But then how do I tolerate? So when I do the duties as a transcendentalist, that is, totally into the bliss. It's only my Atma. Everybody is Atma. Everybody is a soul. So I consider as an Antaryami, Krishna is sitting in you. Krishna is sitting in you. So I will never have that expectations and get that hatred, even get that dislike, even, because I'm going to take it as I will start tolerating everyone's act. So what is happening? Strenuously try to control forces of desires and anger. We will keep doing that. We'll keep practicing it. Material desires of unsatiated creates anger. When I am not satisfied, what I desired, that is not happening naturally, that will create anger, desire into anger. Then mind, eyes, chest becomes agitated. So these are all the way, if you don't tolerate, what happens? Then patiently tolerate the urges of material senses. So forces of senses, can you see? Genital, speech, anger, what the mind does and what the stomach does and what the tongue does. All these take, as into whatever they want to do. So we need to have the hold in you. So how to tolerate? Again, by acquiring higher taste. Hearing, chanting, association. That is the only thing. Sankirtana. So Kali Yuga, that's the best. What is it that you can do is the mantra java, your Sankirtana. Sankirtana yajna is the best yajna. The Brahmabhuta stage, then to change, to enjoy happiness by factured experience within, no longer interested in the material external happiness. It's a very difficult thing, but then self-realized person does that. And so I don't know how we are going to get into that sort of a practice. This is all practice, right? So are we really going to do the practice? I don't know. This is again 4th chapter. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnana nidhagda karmanam tamohu panditam buddhaha. Who's going to read? 4.9.
I want to read it.
Yeah, please.
The enlightened sages call those persons wise whose every action is free from the desire for material pleasures and who have burnt the reactions of work in the fire of divine knowledge. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as oblation to the sacred fire, whatever you bestow as a gift, and whatever austerities you perform, O son of Kunti, do them as an offering to me. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Since such an enlightened soul renounces selfish actions for material pleasures and dedicates all actions to God, the works performed produce no karmic reactions. They are said to be burnt in the fire of divine knowledge.
So everything we offer to him, that means, does it mean that, no papam, no punyam? So both are nullified. But then whatever I do, I just tell, we are all good at it. Krishna Arpanam, Krishna Arpanam, Krishna Arpanam, and we have heard so many stories. And Krishna was like having all stomach pain and everything. Oh, no. Yesterday, whatever she threw, that lady, whatever she threw, it was all the stale food. But she went on throwing it, saying Krishna Arpanam, Krishna Arpanam. So that is one way of expressing. Our acharyas have given a lot of drishtantram to say that whatever good, bad, punya, papa, everything, just surrender. Just tell it is all, for your sake I'm doing. I'm not doing for myself. I'm not doing for anyone else. But it is you who have guided me, who have asked me, and I'm for you, and you're with me. So that is how we move on in every action of ours. Yes, you can continue, ma. Who is reading? Indu? Who is reading that?
Kamya, Adi. One who is not envious, but who is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, who is free from false ego and equal both in happiness and distress, who is always satisfied and engaged in devotional service with determination, and whose mind and intelligence are in agreement with me, he is very dear to me.
So this is the best thing, 12th Adhyayam, 13th and 14th shloka. And you all know whom is he serving. Who is he serving? Krishna?
Sudama.
So, so he is very happy with Arjuna because he's not envious. Arjuna is a person, so not like Shishupala or Duryodhana or, oh, Krishna is a Mayavi, Krishna is some mystic power. So he doesn't, but they are all total surrender in the sense that he is the best friend, and then I don't envy. So the one, that is why this image here, but then who is kind friend to all living entities. I don't differentiate whether it is an ant or a big rich person, individual. But then I also do not think that I am the doer. I am not the doer. I am not the person who will be enjoying. So doer, proprietor, enjoyer, everything is only Krishna. So everything is only Paramatma. Now, who is free from false ego? And false ego is basically, we all say, I did it. You know what? Because I said this, that's why it has happened. I am very sure, and I was the one. Not imagining, not thinking, somebody is sitting inside and guiding you. So it is any gut feeling, anything that you have, the intuition, what we say, the first speech, the first thing that you get, you respond to something is because his voice is inside. He is talking to you. He is telling you to take certain decisions. So, and that if we think that, then we are satisfied always, and we are totally engaged into the devotional service. How? We are very firm. Now, when I have to do this, I'm doing only this. Even if there is a very good movie, a serial, entertainment, enjoyment, party, whatever it may be, the lovely, the snack that you have in front of you, I am determined to do certain devotional service at this point of time. I'm going to do it. That is a very strong statement I'm making. That is a self-realized person's character. So, this is a story of Chitraketu. Lord Shiva was, of course, it is not very relevant here, but the relevance is that Chitraketu, when he got this Pushpa Vimana, so he was just going, and when, he was just looking at Shiva and Parvati giving a lot of rishis and sages were sitting. So Chitraketu just smiled, but Parvati took it as an offense. And then because she is holding Lord Shiva and he's sitting, so maybe like she just assumed, and he was cursed to become Asura. Vritrasura. So now what happens is no anxiety. He just accepted because there is a reason for everything. So how many of us will just accept in the material world or even in the spiritual world? So we will argue, why am I born? There was a dialogue between a living entity, Jivatma and Paramatma. Jivatma is saying, why did you bring me first of all here? So if you didn't want me to do all these karmas, then why did you bring me here? So the example was given in one of the Kalakshepam is, You are driving. So why am I getting into all these karmas and you're punishing me? Why are you punishing me? You brought me here. You are responsible. So the Jivatma keeps, asking questions to Paramatma. Paramatma says, okay. The example in the Kala Shivam was, he is driving 100 miles per hour, where it was about only 30 miles per hour. And then he's being caught by the cops, and the cops are like, naturally. So he got a ticket. And when he gets a ticket, he says, no, why? So there are 3 gunas comes, either you argue Rajas guna, and then either you accept that was your first time fault, and then you pay the whatever this thing is being given. Or, so now he says, Paramatma says, I keep observing as a cop. I know. So I ask you not to go, not to do. When you commit that mistake, whose fault it is? So why can't you ignore? Now, when I ignore all your adharma, what happens? You speed up, but then you really hurt so many people around you. So what is that cop doing? So once for all, he caught you. Otherwise, maybe you were not doing. So this was the argument by Jivatma and Paramatma as if a cop and the speeding driver. So this is a very relevant one, that we do indulge in the karma, and we ask these questions, and we feel that, oh, it is Paramatma who has been doing a wrong thing. Then let us not think that we are the proprietor. And more than Prahalada, who else can be the example here? So one who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, is very dear to me. This is again 12th chapter. You see Prahlada, the most, what Hiranyakashipu was doing, and how Prahlada still had that drida sankalpa, and that faith, that belief, that trust. Oh, he is there with me. He is doing everything for me. I don't really bother about it. So when Narada said, you are Paramatma, I really don't know that, how you are really giving that mercy to the person who is such a dull head. So he's such an intelligent, and he's a Veda Upanyasa, Vedam, he knows everything, Veda and Upanishad and everything. So he says, okay. So Narada is given one assignment. He goes and he says, you go and tell him that the one whom you say Mudatma, he doesn't have any knowledge, just go and tell him that, what one of the needle, in the needle hole, Krishna can put an elephant inside, and that through the needle, and he can. So he goes to the Veda Pragya, the most popular, most advanced in everything. Says, what is it? All rubbish. That can never be done. The Mudatma says, oh, anything can be done by Krishna. So Narada is told. So total belief and trust, without asking questions. We know only Paramatma can do anything and everything. So that is sort of the self-realized person will have that sort of a faith. Yes. Who's going to read now? This is again 4th. This is the biggest, there's a lot of 26 characteristics we have to read. Tyaktva karma palasangam nitya tripto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sa.
Adiyan padikalama, Mami.
Padimama, please, sir.
Thanks, Mami. Such people, having given up attachment to the fruits of their actions, are always satisfied and not dependent on external things. Despite engaging in activities, they do not do anything at all. Free from expectations and the sense of ownership, with a mind and intellect fully controlled, they incur no sin, even though performing actions by their body.
It's so difficult. It is not an easy thing. We will all have expectations. Anything that we do will have that attachment. Attachment to the fruits of their actions. So, Krishna, you will see the images. As a Brahmana, Kshatriya, all these Varnashrama is also shown. Will we not have any expectations? Yes. On this image, when you see, they are all just enjoying his presence. Whether, just the presence of Krishna is being enjoyed here. So how many of us will have that, that sense of ownership is totally the mind, intellect, my buddhi, my jnana, everything is Krishna only. He is the one who is there in all my senses. So why should I not enjoy him and keep doing my work? I will still do my work. All these, you're seeing like, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So all of them, Asura Guna and Sura Guna, everything, it is all Krishna's. So I don't know, like you're all going to be testing yourself, how self-realized I am. This is 13th chapter. Before we move on to 16th chapter, where 24 characteristics that we are going to look for ourselves. The 13th chapter, 22 onwards till 25 shlokas. So who's going to read? Yes, Sudarshan, you please continue this one.
Okay. The blessed Lord said, "He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a cloud, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged and honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings, such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature."
Oh my God, this is, this image is Narada. Who else can be like, all three above everything? Can I? Oh my God, he never respected me. I have the self-respect. How can I do this? I was never invited like this. How many of us feel all such things and we keep telling people around? He never bothered. He never looked at me. He never sent a message. He never said hi. He never said. So we are all attaching all our, those senses, the material body satisfaction, which is so temporary. So we get attached to that, illumination, delusion, attachment and delusion is, I am to be respected. So can I consider this stone also equally with the pearls, or with any of those metals? Okay, this is stone, and this is gold, and this is silver. So these are all precious stones. Can I consider everything as the same? It's so very difficult. So pleasure and pain again. Then you think anything, it is all like we become jadam. Like Jadavarada. We become Jatam. Jatam is, nothing. It doesn't happen, whether it is cold, whether it is pleasure, whether it is pain. So all in a balanced way. We are not sannyasis. We are in the Grahastha ashrama. We are in the Brahmacharya ashrama. But still, are we able to have that control to our own mind? Are we able to control our anger? Oh, very good. Okay. So they could, all right. So just for yourself, as it is an anonymous thing, the questions are, who has the highest self-realized, who is a self-realized person? So the first five is all A. Okay. So you're seeing the percentage. Okay. Believe that you are worthwhile and valuable, seems demanding goals as a challenge, accepts compliments. You're seeing like, 67%, and then are good losers, 100%. Okay. Then do not feel need to continually prove themselves, 63. So 83%. Excellent. Now 6 onwards, it is all B. B means the higher self-realization, the higher one. Higher in the sense, like I discount praise from others, are seldom controlled by guilt. So all B is the correct one, which I really appreciate. 83%, 67%, very good. Do you appreciate others? So generous with their praise for others, 100%. So very highly self-realized people whom I'm addressing, that what is self-realization? Do you understand? It's a checkpoint for myself. It is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, all right, share the results. Are you able to see the results? Are you all able to see the result?
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. So the first 5, if you had answered A, if you had marked as A, then that means that you are all highly self-realized person, the higher rate. Then after like 6th onwards till 10, it is B. So I see a lot of B, 87, 100% and all, which means you have that higher self. So what do we know? The next part is when in the material world, this is all material world, okay? As a psychologist, all these are put. Now, in the material world, if you have realized, if you are having such a realization, high realization, then it is so easy to get the self-realized soul and get attached to the transcendental bliss. That means with the Vaikuntha aspiration, no more coming, no more my, again and again entangling myself into the birth cycle. What happened? Did anybody say something? So that poll results will be there in your this one. You can see again those statements will be there. But then you are all highly self-realized people. So now once I finish this material world self-realization, that was totally on that. Then what I do, my goal setting is different. My goal setting is I become totally sattva, shuddha sattva. Then when I have that sattva guna higher range, and rajas tamas every one of us have, but then I move on to have the connection with the highest goal. What is the highest goal here? To get into the Vaikuntha and no more birth and death cycle. So that becomes your goal next, self-realized goal. Yes, somebody can read the shloka. This is 14. So we are moving on from second onwards. We are moving on. 16th has got 24 qualities. That now I know material world self-realized people we are 90% of us, so that we can move on to the higher goal. This is what is the higher goal. Yes, 14th chapter in the shloka. Anybody can
Am cha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuta bhuyaya kalpate.
Thank you. Okay. So the meaning is given here. Deshikan, continue.
One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
Yes, so you are seeing we are all like Krishna is above than all these three gunas, but we are into all these three gunas, and we know we are all puppets. How we have been, we get into rajas, tamas, and sattva. Rajas, you all know, like anxiety. Oh, I have to go on time. I have to perform. That has to be my goal. I'm not saying that should not be there, but the rajas, that should not lead to the anxiety and depression and sadness. Whatever comes through, we still accept, then it is fine. So if the same rajas guna gets into the self-realized person, then it is different. I need to do this devotional service today at all costs. I need to write about the explanation. So my perception, all my senses, sense organs get diverted to, there is a detour. So that is how. So all my sattva guna is not going to help in any case. So, I mean, the tamas guna is not going to help us anyway. But rajas, if I divert that attention towards Krishna, that is going to help me. Okay, so please continue.
Tad buddhyastadatmanas tannishthastat gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. The process of step-by-step attainment of the mantle of self-realization is shown here. The word tat stands for the natural state of the self, or it may also indicate the knowledge told in the previous shloka. The word indicates the firm decision that the self is to be realized. Tad buddhya means the intellect is directed towards God. Tadatmanaha means the heart, mind, and intellect is solely absorbed in God. Tannishtha means the intellect has firm faith in God. Tatparayanaha means striving after God as the supreme goal and refuge.
See, it's so, thank you, Deshikan Swami. It is so apt that you all did that poll, which is clearly shown that you're already a self-realized person. And then when that self-realization has happened already from this material world, then, we move on. Although it is from the 6th chapter, but still fifth chapter, but still, it clearly indicates that the firm decision to everything to get diverted towards God. Okay, buddhi also, my intellect also, my mind, my faith, my the supreme goal is to attain him. So this is a very, very important one, but in detail it is given here. So 16th chapter, first shloka to third shloka, almost we will just, who has to do, I will not go in detail because it's in the Bhagavad Gita class, but this is for self-realized person. We just go on the qualities. This is there. You can have the table, maybe like, if it is recorded, you can have that. And it is from the 16th chapter, first shloka to third shloka. All these qualities are given. Abhaya, fearlessness. Anybody can read. We don't have to read that who has to have this quality, but then description can be read. The quality and the description. Who else was reading? Anybody, please.
Na padikkiren.
Okay.
Fearlessness, abhayam, complete dependence on Krishna's mercy, has to be alone without guarantee of support, convinced that Paramatma will give all protection to surrendered soul. Purification of one's existence, sattva samshuddhav, strictly follow rules and regulations, especially forbidden intimate association with women. Example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu punished Chota Haridas.
This I took it from from the ISKCON, this one, but then made the table. So you will understand those examples are given, but all our Advars are all into that. So, the intimate relations, when you see our Acharya, they know where and how, what extent. So that is for the purification of one's existence.
Cultivation of knowledge, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitu. Duty of a sannyasi must cultivate and give transcendental knowledge to Grihastha ashramas. Humility begs from door to awaken Krishna consciousness for others. Charity, dhanam. Charity given in the mode of goodness, right time, place, and person. Spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness. Charity in passion and ignorance is a waste of time. Self-control, damaha. All sex life should be used only for propagating Krishna conscious children.
In that book, it was given, you marry and have children if the children are into Bhagavan's all those, you make him realized about Krishna, otherwise they don't ever get married or don't. I mean, that conviction, that strong statement, like you cannot have so if you have useless children, all those who are not into understanding about Krishna are all useless children, it seems. So you can understand how strong they were in fact explaining, if you have children, then the children have to be only with all those qualities that's been prescribed in our Veda. So it can be Brahmana, it can be Kshatriya, it can be anybody, but then otherwise don't get married. Second thing is, when we do the charity, okay, I know, I understand this is not required for me, so let me give it back. Let me give it to. So the right person, the right time, and the right place. You cannot just keep giving charity just because you want all your black money to be all your money that is being earned by different sources, which is not even in the correct way. That can be given as charity. Okay, put it in the undian. So that cannot be done. That doesn't have any significance for that, and that is not towards Bhagavan. Okay. Yes. 7th, 6th.
Sacrifice, yagna, requires material resources, Agnihotra yagna, therefore especially for grahasthas. Sankirtana yagna is the best, most inexpensive anyone can do, no qualifications required, highest benefit. Vedic study, Swadhyayas.
Swadhyayas.
Swadhyayas. Recommendation for brahmacharis is celibacy and engagement of mind in the study of Vedic literatures. Austerity, tapas. Human life and therefore Vedic culture is meant for liberation. For that, tapasya is a must. One must retire after household life, approximately 50 years of age. Austerity can be of body, mind, and tongue. Refutes show bottle spiritualists who says that there is no need for austerity in life and one can go on speculating. Such philosophy attracts many followers.
Yeah,
Simplicity.
all of them keep speculating. Okay, was Krishna the real? Did he marry 16,108? Why did he do this? Was he a Mayavi? Was he because, I mean, he made everybody to fight. Was it right? So such speculation, when you enter, that is not tapas. And that we need to refute. Like 18th Adhyaya clearly says, those who don't believe, those who keep doing this philosophical research, you don't have to go and explain it to them. They are atheists. You don't have to explain it to them. But the austerity of body, mind, and tongue, what is that? That is the tapas. That is, hold your tongue. We had a lot of exercises. I used to tell, if something like you feel like reacting, think of the red signal, think of the red, and then just stop. And then yellow light says, the light points, yellow light says, okay, start thinking, can I speak? And if I have to speak, what words do I speak? And then move on. That is the green. So all these comes under tapas. All these comes under austerity. All these comes under is the yajna. So when we purify ourselves, that only gives you the feeling of self-realized person. So all these we will have, but maybe like 20%, 30%, 50%, somewhere 80%. So we need to keep practicing. This is the 16th chapter clearly says, and if you read the shlokas and even Ramanuja's Bhashyam and Swami Desikar's Bhashyam, we will have all these qualities this is the manual. This is our manual for us to be a self-realized person, self-realized soul, to attain Vaikuntha, to leave this material world, with a great success. What is a success? Manushya Jivana. We are born as a human being to get rid of the human being birth and death cycle. Yes. Next one.
Simplicity, arjavam. Simple and straightforward. Non-violence, ahimsa. Non-violence implies not checking progressive life of any living entity. Truthfulness, not distort the truth for some personal interest, especially Vedic instructions, basically misinterpreting Bhagavad Gita commentaries. Process of understanding Vedas, one must hear from the bona fide Acharya. Freedom from anger, krodha. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant. Anger pollutes the whole body. Anger is a product of passion and lust. Renunciation, tyaga. Using things properly in Krishna's service. Tranquility, shantir. Unaffected by disturbing emotions, peacefulness, equipoised. Compassion for all living entities, dhaya. Gives spiritual knowledge, prasadam, books, holy name.
The tyaga, krodha, shantir, dhaya, truthfulness, these are all those virtues which almost all of us have. That is why we are here in the Bhagavad Gita class. Let me honestly tell you, we cannot be explaining about the reactions and the repercussions and the results of krodha. So all of us have this quality, which is the rajas guna, and this particular characteristics in us, which makes us anger because of our expectations from others and desire. Something has to happen the way you want it to be happening. And when it doesn't happen, so we are not able to tolerate. And when we don't tolerate, then automatically sadness. And today's children will never say even, I'm feeling unhappy, I'm not liking it. No, the word directly goes as, I am depressed, I am. So that extreme level is because we are not able to control the anger. How do we control the anger? There are a lot of exercises. The best exercise is Sankirtana. Best exercise is Nama Japa. Best exercises to do and sit and just relate with him, talk to him, have a picture. We have all our temple deities, divine deities. Just keep looking at him, talk to him, look at his feet, go slowly from that. So when we all control our anger, and none of us can say that we don't get angry, we all get angry, and that's the truth. So that's not a self-realized person. That is not the characteristics of a self-realized person, because lust, greed, and anger is the gateway to hell. The way you expect and things are not done, then we get angry, which is not acceptable at all, because there what we do, there is no congruence between the action, the feeling, and the thought, and we keep on saying the words which should not come out. The anger even in your thoughts, the anger in your feeling will automatically spell out as a word, and that thought and feeling also needs to be very shant, very that tranquil, that bliss, that thinking about. So immediately we need to divert our attention. Krishna, I'm looking at you, Paramatma. So when that can happen only when you consider Paramatma in front of you. And how will it come? Like my grandmother used to say, when I close my eyes and see, and I see from there, Thiruvananthapuram, Ananda Padmanabhan onwards till, we took her to Srinagar, Jammu, and Singapore temple, everywhere, Sri Ranganatha. So one by one, we start keeping on all those Perumal in our mind. And that Bhagavath Aradhana, like you keep doing the Aradhana from your mind. So we start practicing it, only then we can control our anger. So when you get angry also in front of you, somebody is standing, before we talk, before we speak, oh, Krishna is looking at, because as an Antaryami, he is sitting in that Atma also. So I'm looking at him or her and seeing that, oh my God, as an Antaryami, Krishna is looking at me. So give a smile, just check and see. So that is the real self-realized person's characteristic. Yeah.
Freedom of covetousness,
Yeah.
aloluptavam, having a craving for possession, greedy, charity, and renunciation. Gentleness, mardhavam, friendliness to all living entities. Modesty, hrir, do not perform abominable actions and be very modest. Steady determination, akapalam.
Achapalam.
Achapalam.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not agitated or frustrated in his efforts, regardless of failure. Progress with patience and determination. Vigor, teja, able to give protection to those who need it, not pose non-violent, but use violence when needed.
Yes, so we cannot ask the surgeon to not to be that teja, that Kshatriya bhava, wherever he has to do all those, whatever activity that's been prescribed for us, he has to do it. That's what Krishna has been again and again explaining. So the teja has to be, he should be able to protect his, if he doesn't fight, then what is going to happen? That is also, so he cannot be saying, no, I cannot be violent. He has to fight, means he has to get down into the fight. So Achapalam, Alautvam, Hrir, then Teja. So these are the qualities. Please read 16th chapter 1 to 3, those shlokas, and that will give you an explanation of all these description, whether I start doing, whether I start explaining, imagining, am I a self-realized person? Do I have those characteristics of a self-realized person? So this will create an awareness in ourselves, thinking that, am I following what is being told by Krishna in the 16th chapter? Because 26 is not an easy thing. 26, we need to have all those 26 qualities. And you have seen from 2nd chapter onwards, everywhere he is speaking. So this is the characteristics of the self-realized person. Are we in that path? Are we getting into that? Am I going to get entangled into this desire world, into this material world? Or am I taking that path? So this is a checkpoint for you. Yes, Deshikan Swami, you can continue.
Aversion to fault finding, apaishunam. To call a thief is okay, but no unnecessary fault finding or correction. Forgiveness, kshama. Forgive minor offenses of others. When one is able to curb down his enemies, he may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness. Fortitude, dhritihi. Mental and emotional strength when facing difficult situations. Cleanliness, shaucham. Internal mind and heart. External, body and dealing with others. No gambling. freedom from envy, adroha, not resentful of another, freedom from passion for honor, natimanita, must respect others. One should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige and honor, but remain in his own status.
I really don't think we need to go in detail for this because we will not have so much of time, but I appreciate that you please have this as a chart. It's a very well-defined, and we all need to practice this. Forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, shaucham, and shaucham from inside, from outside. So freedom from passion of honor. Am I getting that importance? I think we all have this in our mind. Am I being recognized? Have I been really given that importance? So when I start working on it, what will happen is my goal, my actual work here, which is the devotional service, will get diverted. So there I will not be successful. All these 26 within 1 to 3, all in the 16th chapter shlokas will really give us an explanation of whether I am in that. In 1.10 scale, am I in the 5th, 6th, or 7th? So every month I make the students to write the journal in such a way that, please see all these virtues, do I have it or not? In the diary of a student, if a teacher is there, they can write, these are the virtues and where do I stand? In 1.6, 1.10, so I keep practicing it. Next month I'm into this. So where do I stand? Where do I stand? We all need to check because we are all human beings. And if my goal is in a higher level, in the higher level goal, I need to. So this is the 6th chapter, what we are seeing here. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. I think last month we had a detailed discussion, but still these are all 5 restraints and Niyama in 5 observances. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, the 16th chapter itself is given clearly, but 6th chapter also speaks about Yama, Niyama, the regular, the routine work that we do. And we cannot get into that Samadhi level because but Dhyana and Dharana, if you see, Dharana is the applying whatever the regularity, the routine thing that I'm doing in a disciplined way as per the Shastra. That is going to help us to follow that spiritual path. So that is why this particular thing is there. And okay, the same thing in this is the 6th chapter. So Yama is external discipline, Niyama is internal discipline. If I have to get up at 4 o'clock, I have to get up at 4 o'clock. If I have to do the jabam in the morning, I have to do the jabam. I have to take shower. So that Niyama, and it's in from within. So Yama is like, okay, all outside. Niyama from internal. I cannot tell lies, I cannot. So all these 16 chapter thing will come into the Niyama, internal discipline. Asana, of course, the routine way of doing, it's all in the Ashtanga Yoga. Posture, Pranayama, normal Pranayama, like, inhaling and exhalation and being calm. That is a way of doing things so that, we don't get that anxiety. Then Pratyahara is like, like a tortoise. You keep all your senses inside and withdrawal of all those senses which gets attracted to which makes us go away from and gets into the sensual pleasures. Dharana is applying everything. Dharana is also concentration. Applying all those theories that I've learned, I need to apply to my life in the day-to-day life. So Dhyana and then Samadhi. Samadhi level, where we cannot be sitting in the isolation and do. It's very difficult. Ashtanga Yoga is taught. Our mind is so much of Chanchala Buddhi. We can travel right now sitting here within fraction of a second, 9,000 kilometers. We are in, Bangalore or wherever. So we can go. So that's not possible to get that. Now in the 13th chapter, again, all these characterizations, whatever we have spoken is being, very nicely given. I am not going into because I don't want to get time is already 1 hour, 15 minutes. We will move on, but this is given and that will be the recording. So please read 8 to 12. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 shlokas has got everything. Who is my Priya? Who, I like such people, those who have got this. So that is how where Krishna is explaining. 13th chapter, what we did was 16th chapter. Now we go on to the 18th chapter. Yes. Deshikan Swamin.
Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
Thank you so much. And this is the final one. Like, I consider every living entity is Jivatma, and inside the Jivatma, there is Paramatma. We are all connected with him, and we are all doing for him. And ultimate goal is also ours is set. Now, what is that ultimate goal? We all know that we have to attain Vaikuntham and not come back again and again here. That makes us very, very the self-realized person. So for a material world, what is my strength? This is my strength and this is my weakness. No, 85% of, we all have 85% strength, okay? But we all work on the 15% of the one which is weakness in me. Everybody will point out and we will also be working on that. So is it really worth? Is it really worth? That's what we need to see. Now you're all in the higher level because of your poll questions. I have understood that we have already reached that higher level of self-realized person. So there are few characteristics which we have to work on. Why? Because my goal is to attain Vaikunta, total surrender to Acharya. And when I have to do all that, then I need to purify myself within. Now, if I have to purify from within, Nama Sankirtana. Now Sadhu Satsanga, that is Satsangam, and like-minded people, controlling all those senses. So these are few things which is from the 16th chapter. Even the other chapters, it moves on to that, and we all can be working on it. 13th, 1 to 3, again 16th chapter, it clearly says, so Bhagavan, already Krishna has told Arjuna, for our sake, like we all have to think that we are Arjuna. So Krishna is telling us, so keep writing and keep answering. Am I into this? Am I into this? Ask questions to yourself. Which level am I in? So that will help. So I'll stop here. And then, you will not, then it will fall down to 50%. So last month, the devotees who were there, and I'm seeing, I don't know, whatever reasons, maybe the time change and all, I'm seeing, the participants are less. So I don't want to take more time. This is your Sunday, but you can ask questions, any questions here. This is, we understood about characterization of the self-realized person. So as a self-realization, is it a soul or is it my body? And there you had the questions in the beginning. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I born? What is my goal? Am I happy? Am I earning? What is that money earned for? Yes, Soumya, please go ahead.
Again, Mami, I wanted to know where I can get the list of the 26 qualities, where to access.
Okay, 16th Adhyayam, if you go through in the 16th Adhyayam, Bhagavad Gita, wherever you have, whatever book you have, so whether it is our Gita Press book or even online, you will find, okay, the 26 qualities.
Okay, Mom.
But that explanation, I think on the site that's being given is not there anywhere. So who has to follow is also not there. That I had been teaching in ISKCON, so somehow gathered all those, but then maybe it is online. Okay, but it is from our Bhagavad Gita shloka.
Premaji, will you be able to post that list in the group?
Sure, I will do that. I think, yeah, I will. That's not a problem. I'll be done. That will be done.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to ask.
That's not a problem. I'll post it. Yes. Any other question? Kalyani Mami, it's do I stop the recording? If any question is there, I will take. Otherwise, it's
yes. Thank you so much, Prema. Next month.
Yes, thanks for this opportunity. Every time we take a theme and take those shlokas which are relevant to that, but we need to move on from this material body to the spiritual. So that's what I'm trying to connect. Because if I don't talk about self-realized person as a psychologist, then I say, no, psychologist is a psychiatrist and psychologist, everything is Krishna. Well, let's see what has he done. So that's how we move on. Thank you so much. Sure. எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து அடியன்
Thank you.
தன்யாஸ்மி. Thank you.
Again, the news.
தன்யா.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mummy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.